Sylvie of the multiple award-winning The Queen Sylvie Show. You want to expand and get noticed? Then come outside your box and into our world. Internet advertising has a real impact on global awareness and even sales, so let's make an impact together. Offering for a limited time advertising and sponsorship packages that excel your purpose. So contact Queen Sylvie or Smooth Tim for the exciting opportunities that awaits. Yeah.
Are you tired of driving around a dirty car? Say hello to the ultimate solution for your car. Quick Auto Detail, home, work, or wherever. Their mobile car spa will clean and shine your car anytime and anywhere. Their products are gentle on your car's paint, and they use only the highest quality materials. Book your appointment now.
Some things that seem small tell you more about where America is going than others. Donald Trump demolished the east half of our White House. Yeah, it's our house. It's not his. It's not any president's, regardless of party. It belongs to us, to we the people. But that's not how Trump thinks. He's destroying the historic east wing of the White House to build a warehouse-sized party room for himself, his billionaire buddies. You'll never set foot in it. You'll never be invited there. It's ugly. It's vulgar. Americans are furious. White House historians are in tears. He tore up the rose garden planted by Jackie Kennedy so he could DJ like he was at Mar-a-Lago. He's tearing down the White House to rebuild it in his image. Ugly, vulgar, greedy, obscene. Spending over $300 million while Americans suffer from his shutdown, his tariffs, his plan to wreck the economy. Building a ballroom while your job, your business, your farm, and your retirement are being destroyed. But that's the truth about Trump. He has no respect for this country, no respect for tradition, no respect for history, and no respect for you.
Hey kids, how would you like to hear this on the screen instead of the great show you came to see? That's what you sound like. Honest. Please cooperate and do your part in keeping this theater quiet so everyone, including you, can enjoy it. Now remember, lots of adults and kids, too, paid admission to enjoy the show. We must insist on absolute quiet.
Oh, with madness!
8 Democrats have voted with Republicans to reopen the government. Had the Democrats been spineless or Machiavellian? We asked 2 experts on the subject. First, a spine.
It was spineless. The Republicans were getting blamed for a shutdown that was hurting millions of people. The Democrats gave up that leverage, and for what? A Republican promise to hold a vote?
Thank you for that. And now for the Machiavellian perspective, we go to Florentine philosopher Nicholas Machiavelli. Look, let's be honest, okay? The Republicans were never going to compromise on these healthcare subsidies as a part of a shutdown deal, okay? But now the Democrats, they are going to force the Republicans separately to go on the record voting specifically against these very popular subsidies next year. And this is going to happen ahead of the midterms, okay? So this is smart. Is it a Machiavellian? No, ma it's good enough. I give them 3 stelle su 5. Well, there you have it. Spineless or Machiavellian? You decide.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? It's time for the final countdown. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's rock.
Indeed, let's rock. It has been a rocky weekend that we got through. Thank goodness we got through all that. How is everybody doing on this wonderful Wednesday? I appreciate you coming and spending a little bit of time with me on this hump day on Tim's Tidbits. So glad you could make it. So glad that you did tune in. Hey, anyhow, yeah, it has been interesting in the good old USA and around the world. Still things going on in Gaza. Apparently, each side is accusing each other of, violating the ceasefire negotiations, treaty, and so there's still some things going on there, and we'll see how that pans out eventually. Still lobbing bombs back and forth between Ukraine and Russia. We're still blowing up boats. I don't think we blew up any boats lately coming out of Venezuela. I think they may be scared to death to do that. We'll get into all that here shortly. But anyhow, let's talk about what's happening in the good old US of A. And, what may be happening in Washington. Well, anyhow, you know that a lot of people have been calling for the release of the Epstein files, and it seems that the Republicans have got their hands full with the latest scandal that's going to be kicked up from the release of some of Epstein's email communications between himself and Ghislaine Maxwell, I think. That's correct. And anyhow, kind of citing that Trump may have a little bit more insight on what was going on with Epstein than he wants to somehow disassociate himself with. But let's get into it right at the top of the show and see what is the latest scandal coming out of D.C. With the latest release of some Epstein files. Check it on out.
This morning, the bombshell release of what House Democrats say are emails to and from deceased convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, several referring to President Donald Trump by name. In an April 2011 email released by Democrats on the House Oversight Committee, lawmakers say Epstein wrote to his now convicted accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell, 3 years after pleading guilty to sex crimes involving a minor, telling her, "I want you to realize that dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Unnamed victims spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned." According to the released emails, Maxwell responds, "I have been thinking about that." But this summer, in a recorded interview with the Department of Justice, Maxwell told Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, the president's former lawyer, she never witnessed Trump act inappropriately.
"I never witnessed the president in any inappropriate setting in any way. The president was never inappropriate with anybody. In the times that I was with him, he was a gentleman in all respects."
Shortly after that interview, Maxwell was moved to a minimum security prison camp, prompting criticism she received special treatment. Committee Democrats also releasing this January 2019 email, where Epstein corresponds with author Michael Wolff less than 6 months before the financier would be charged again, this time with sex trafficking of minors. Discussing President Trump's repeated claim he kicked Epstein out of his Palm Beach club, Epstein writing, "Trump said he asked me to resign, never a member ever. Of course, he knew about the girls as he asked Ghislaine to stop." President Trump has denied any knowledge of Epstein's alleged crimes.
It's a hoax. It's started by Democrats.
After Epstein's arrest in 2019, Trump said he hadn't spoken with him in 15 years. And earlier this year, Trump claimed the reason he banned his one-time friend from Mar-a-Lago in the mid-2000s was because Epstein stole Trump's club staff, including young women.
He took people, and because he took people, I said, "Don't do it anymore. You know, they work for me." And he took, beyond that, he took some others. And once he did that, that was the end of him. I didn't like, when they steal people, I don't like it.
And no response yet from the White House on the release of these emails. Meantime, right up here on Capitol Hill, in just hours, Speaker Mike Johnson will swear in Representative-elect Adelita Grijalva. The Speaker has prevented her from 7 weeks now from taking her seat. She says one of her first orders of business will be signing that petition, providing the last signature it needs to force a vote on the House floor for the release of thousands of other pages of the Department of Justice's Epstein records. Once she does that, the clock starts ticking down to that vote, expected in the coming weeks, George.
Interesting. So, yeah, we'll see how that all pans out today. Seeing if they, and that's going to lead into the next story actually. See that girl's been waiting forever and ever for Mike Johnson to swear her in to the House, and so see how her vote starts affecting some things. Her Democratic vote. And interestingly enough, we'll see that the Senate, especially when coming up, it does matter. They'll swear her in, and then they will get the bill that got forwarded out of the House, which is to reopen the government. And I would imagine it's probably going to pass. As of time that we were taping this particular show, negative. No response from the House yet. Are they going to pass the bill? And I would imagine they do have a lot of business. Could even go into tomorrow before they actually vote on are they going to accept that bill and send it over to the president for his signature. So continuing resolution to keep the government going and to keep food stamps in people's hands. But in any regards, let's take a quick look at what's happening as far as forwarding this bill into the House of Representatives.
The funding bill that would reopen the government now heads to the House after passing in the Senate last night, just reaching the 60 votes needed.
The bill as amended is passed.
One step closer to ending the longest shutdown in U.S. history.
I am very, very happy to be able to say that we are coming to the end.
The House will hold its first round of votes tomorrow afternoon.
We have to do this as quickly as possible.
After weeks of Senate Democrats holding out to address the expiring subsidies tied to the Affordable Care Act, this bill does nothing to address that. Democrats only getting a promise from Republicans to vote on health care in the near future.
People are aware now that this is an issue, and they know who's fighting for them.
Food banks are still seeing long lines. In Seattle, organizers warn the effects of the shutdown will last even after the government reopens. If the government funding bill passes in the House, SNAP benefits will be funded until September 2026. The Trump administration is still asking the Supreme Court to block the order requiring them to pay out full SNAP benefits if and when the government reopens. That argument will essentially be over.
So he wants to screw the people on some of their SNAP benefits. So, since you went without them this long, why should we give you all of it back? I mean, you're going to be getting your SNAP benefits next month. So, hey, you were able to stretch it while you did it. So why worry about it, right? This guy is unbelievable. He has never went hungry one day in his damn life. In fact, you've seen his supply. Instead of, like Reagan used to have the jelly beans, right, on Air Force One. Yeah, well, Trump has like Big Macs and supersized fries in his little jar next to him instead of jelly beans. Anyhow, speaking of some craziness that's going on, and this is another thing that our wonderful, wonderful POTUS has suggested that we do is how about, as if ICE isn't bad enough when it comes to the way that they apprehend so-called illegal immigrants and anybody that may get in their way that is going to get charged for obstruction or whatever the case may be. How about, that's a great idea. Why don't we maybe have a bounty incentive when it comes to helping us deport, illegal immigrants? And that could be, incorporated into, your ICE benefits or maybe even your local militia groups. I mean, I don't know. Check this on out.
New report by Raw Story. The Trump administration is considering a move that could basically change how immigration is enforced in this country forever. The Trump administration is considering hiring private bounty hunters to help ICE locate immigrants across the United States. It's important to know that for decades, immigration enforcement has been handled by trained federal officers. Under what we thought was strict oversight, although recently I doubt it, they answered to courts, Congress, and to the American public. But now ICE is entertaining the idea of outsourcing that power, basically paying private contractors to track down human beings for money. This is not speculation. The Intercept obtained a procurement document showing that ICE is basically considering an incentive-based pricing structure. In simple terms, bonuses for speed and accuracy. The plan calls for private companies to receive bundles of tens of thousands of names at a time. And get this, potentially scaling up to 1 million targets nationwide. The data they'd be given includes like government case files, photos, location, details, even social media activity. And to find people, they'd actually be using a practice called, it was skip tracing. Basically, surveillance software that scrapes phone records, credit data, and online behavior to track a person's every single move. Let's stop there for a second. I mean, that basically means that private companies, not law enforcement, would have access to personal data about where people live and work. And many of those people aren't criminals. I mean, guys, come on. These are asylum seekers, students, and workers waiting on legal paperwork. I mean,
right? You know? Yeah, so, hey, you know, that's going to lead into another story that I'm going to be talking about here a little bit on down the line. But, yeah, I mean, doesn't that seem like an invasion of privacy in so many, many, many different ways? And they're going to be paying bounty hunters. You know what? It's going to be like the wild, wild west. You know, you're going to have people, you know, dragging him. Whether they want it dead or alive, I mean, I don't get how that's going to all pan out. But that's just insane. I can't believe it. You know, Trump would even tout that idea out there. And, you know, and you talk about insightful of violence. There you go, and coming right out of the POTUS's mouth. Thank you, sir, for that. Anyhow, you know, hey, speaking of what comes out of, you know, the people's mouth, it's interesting that, you know, for the first part of the administration, we had Elon involved, you know, as part of the DOGE, you know, part of the Department of Government Efficiency, helping, you know, make the government run smoother. But anyhow, another part of, you know, the promise coming in, besides making government run smoother and draining the swamp, was, you know, to, you know, create some equity between the citizens of the United States. And, well, it looks like maybe that equity rather just really got wider, so to speak. Could you believe that one person in particular, Elon Musk, just made a deal with Tesla for $1 trillion. That would be his worth now. So Elon Musk would be the first trillionaire. Try to put that into perspective. Thanks to, I don't know, thanks to what? Somehow he manipulated it, and kind of funny, especially after, you know, he's, you know, made those changes in the government, and, you know, now he bowed out. And wow. But check this on out, people. Your first trillionaire.
For the voters who are speaking out on high prices in this economy. And that's just what they're going through. Then there's the wealth gap. Tech boom, Wall Street bull market raging on. And this gap is not just about political messaging. In fact, if there were no elections on Tuesday and none of this had taken flight in sort of the public debate, income inequality would still be surging, driven both by the stock market gains and choices in U.S. law and regulation, which currently reward the wealthy far more than most democracies do. And that's something that lawmakers can decide on. In the U.S. right now, the richest people are richer than ever, literally. That's not rhetoric. That's what's happened in the year 2025 because the richest own far more stock than everybody else. And those richest people are smashing records this year, as you can see, for the top 1%. Now, back in the Reagan era, we talked about millionaires. That was the big rich milestone. Tonight, I can tell you that in a sign of capitalism in some kind of overdrive, the controversial new Tesla payment plan puts Elon Musk on a path to become the world's first trillionaire, with a T. The company just voted for a plan for a potential payout that, if he meets certain marks, would be the largest ever granted to any single person. Keep in mind that Tesla, which has been lauded as a good company in certain ways, well, they pay the regular workers about $50,000 a year. This kind of wealth makes Musk more rich and powerful than entire countries. If he hits the mark, $1 trillion is larger than the whole economy, GDP of Poland or of Argentina or of Sweden. I mean, it's wild. There's very few ways we can really try to use words to encapsulate what it means for Tesla to tell Elon Musk he can become a trillionaire. Here's how he reacted to the vote from his company stockholders.
Thanks, guys. First of all, I'd like to just give a heartfelt thanks to everyone who supported the shareholder votes. I super appreciate it.
He super appreciates it.
He certainly does. I certainly super appreciate you making me the world's first trillionaire. I can't, like he said, that's more than the gross product of some countries, more than Poland. Some countries don't have that kind of money, and this guy's got, that kind of net worth coming out if he produces it properly for Tesla. But wow, unbelievable. Would you like to have a little piece of that? Give me your thoughts on that one. Anyhow, let's get to the next one. Just to make things a little bit easier for us, our POTUS has decided that it would be a good idea, and he floated this one on his social media platform, Truth Social. How about, he thinks, would be a good idea if maybe through the tariffs that he imposed on the countries, now we're paying the price for, how about to make things a little bit easier on you and I, that he floats us a $2,000 rebate check. How about that? Maybe that would make things so much easier and make us forgive him for putting us in debt for another $10,000. So we really appreciate the $2,000 kickback from the $10,000 that you cost us. Thanks, Donnie.
Some of those billions of dollars of tariff money might go into taxpayer pockets if President Trump has his way. In a Truth Social post, he said a dividend of at least $2,000 a person, not including high-income people, will be paid to everyone. Sounds great, but some potential problems. One, the president's own Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, said rebates could come in a variety of forms, not necessarily checks to taxpayers. Two, Congress would have to approve it, as they did with the COVID-era stimulus checks. Finally, the Tax Foundation says even if checks go only to people earning under $100,000 a year, this would still cost the government $300 billion.
So don't plan your holiday shopping budget around a rebate check, but know that one could be coming at some time, and that way you don't waste your money.
Interesting. So that $2,000 rebate check for the $10,000 that it cost you because of the excessive tariffs may or may not be coming. Don't hold your breath. And it may not be coming in the form of any type of a rebate or a check. That was interesting. So we'll see how you get it, if you get it, when you get it. I love it. Donnie is one fantastic double talker. But in any regard, it's not surprising that we are so confused. In fact, I wanted to share this with you real quick. There was a study done. Let me see if I actually noted where the study was done. No. But it just basically shows that there is a serious academic decline in Americans, and especially when it comes to, I guess, geography. And check us out, folks, and we'll be right back.
An alarming new educational survey has found that over 70% of Americans lack the basic geographic literacy to find where they are being deported to on a map. Researchers found that of the thousands of participants surveyed, the vast majority could not locate the country, region, or continent where their future deportation plane would land.
Millennials in particular stumbled, with many believing that their destinations were in Cuba or Mexico, when actually they were thousands of miles away in South America and even Africa.
Educators are now calling for strong reform and attempting to incentivize Americans to learn basic geography as part of a program called Deport Ignorance.
Eritrea. Eswatini. Good. By the time they're 5 or 6 years old, Americans really should know where they're being deported to.
Walden's research team hopes that through their work, more Americans will also be able to identify the location of the unmarked mass graves that they will all soon be thrown into. Coming up next, we have a live look at the candlelight vigil being held for the victims who caught fire at last night's candlelight vigil.
This Thanksgiving, make it a Walmart Thanksgiving. With the help of President Trump, we have created the perfect dinner bundle for you and your whole family. Walmart's commitment to helping President Trump's tariffs lets us offer you a bundle with great savings. We see you, tariff shelf, with delicious products from our new Get Spoiled line. That's right. Spoil yourself this Thanksgiving with a past its expiration date can of cranberry sauce, aged like a fine wine. Turn your best buy into a best buy. Watching your waistline? Enjoy Walmart's new svelte turkey. A skinny bird will help you eat less this holiday and won't monopolize your oven space. Who needs a GLP-1? Plus, we took the liberty of getting rid of some of the wasteful purchases you usually make on Thanksgiving. Things like dessert or fresh produce. Yuck! Our bundle has just 7 essential items. One of them is Lara Trump's new single. Walmart is also proud to offer our exclusive store brands. That's right, Walmart Gravy, sourced from fresh rain-collected streams behind our superstores, right near the dumpsters. The critters that walk through our streams create a unique and delicious flavor profile. And Walmart's bundle helps you eliminate unsavory family members from your table this year just by virtue of serving size. That progressive aunt? Gone. Her woke daughter? Bye-bye. So make it a Walmart Thanksgiving, an affordable bundle that can feed 10, 9, maybe even 3 of your family.
Indeed, make it a Walmart Thanksgiving. Thank you for that. Hey, anyhow, yeah. You know, we talked last week about, wow, I think, what is there, 7, 8 boats now, almost 50 people now that are maybe even over that have been killed in the strikes with suspected narco-terrorist transport boats. You know, going into the Caribbean waters, not necessarily knowing where they're heading, but anyhow, they are suspected, so they got blew up. And we talked a little bit about how the Navy, U.S. military, is we're starting to deploy some of their vessels down into the Caribbean area. And in fact, guess what? One of the biggest that we have, a multi-purpose ship, aircraft carrier, and its escorts ended up arriving in Latin America just the other day, and see how maybe that might be a deterrent. Instead of blowing up people, we'll just throw our biggest aircraft carrier and all the attendants to protect it, and just launch, strikes against suspected narco-terrorists, or I don't know what the intent really is going to be, folks. We got to keep an eye on this. But in any regard, take a look at this clip. Look at the ship that we just have floating down, off Venezuela now. See how that does as far as an intimidation value, and or maybe even starting something even worse.
The Pentagon today announced the USS Gerald Ford arrived in the Latin American region, part of President Trump's war on drug cartels. The Ford is the biggest aircraft carrier in the American fleet and has accompanying warships, far more firepower than needed to sink a few alleged drug smuggling boats. The target could be Venezuela. President Trump calls its authoritarian president, Nicolas Maduro, a narco-terrorist. Neighboring Colombia is also on edge.
Colombia is a drug den. It's a drug den, and it has been for a long time.
I met the chief of Colombia's elite counter-narcotics division. He was emphatic his troops fight drug smugglers.
What do you think when people in the United States, critics, say that Colombia, your forces, aren't doing anything?
Every day, we continue to carry out intelligence, land, and air operations to combat this scourge of drug trafficking, he said.
The U.S. military strikes on boats allegedly carrying drugs heading for the United States is having a chilling effect on fishermen here in Colombia. Normally, these boats go far out to sea to find their catch. But now, fishermen tell us they're too afraid, worried that if they go far from the shore, they could be hit by a U.S. drone.
These fishermen only brought in a meager haul after 6 hours at sea. Richard Engel, NBC News, Santa Marta, Colombia.
They got the fishermen paranoid as a motherfucker. I don't blame them, man. You know, you go too far offshore and all of a sudden they suspect, you know, you're some type of a narco-terrorist drug runner. And they got the USS Gerald Ford there with all her, firepower plus the other ships. You're toast. Yeah. So, yeah, interesting. And, yeah, what is the true intent? Donald, tell us. Tell us true. That's not going to happen. We're going to get into that in a little bit later about his lies on 60 Minutes on Sunday. But in any regard, let's move on down. And, we had talked just a little bit earlier about, ICE and how they're looking for, assistance in, the bounty, getting a bounty to wrap up and, round up terrorists, and not terrorists, I'm sorry, illegal immigrants. But in any regard, the different information networks that they would have available to them, and the violation of your, rights as a citizen, not to, be surveyed without, or investigated, without probable cause. That's basically harassment. But in any regards, you know what these flock cameras are, or license plate readers that they have coming into a lot of these cities, and a lot of them were sold under the guise that it's going to help us track down elusive felons, runaways, any other type of crimes that against people where we need to track down. Could be anything from trafficking human beings to bank robberies to murder suspects. But in any regard, that's what these flock cameras are supposed to be for. But they have been abused, and there's been some issues in some cities where the actual law enforcement officials were utilizing the information in those cameras, the data, the recorded data, for their own personal gain. But also, there's a city now in Washington that is going to shut down all of their flock cameras because of a judge's ruling. And the judge's ruling was that all that information, since you're being recorded 99% of the time as you're on the street, is actually public information. So if I make a public information request for, the flock camera that's at the corner of, Main and East Street, they should be able to provide that to me without question because it is paid for by the public. It's a recording of all the people all the time. So it's basically public information. And now the city says, no, we're not going to, adhere to that. And we'll just shut these things down. And maybe it's something that every city should do. And there is no abuse by any authority or non-authority. And there would be no stalking probabilities that could happen from, a public information request. Check it on out.
Here in Cedar Woolley, where cowboys, loggers, and railroad barons built this historic town, new technology has been helping catch criminals. A half dozen or so Flock brand cameras are mounted along the busiest streets. These cameras can keep an eye out for stolen cars or vehicles that suspects use to commit their crimes. But earlier this year, Cedar Woolley shut all its cameras down and asked a judge to settle a case involving a public records request.
You're a tattoo artist.
Yes.
Who files public records requests.
Yeah, on my free time, yeah.
Jose Rodriguez, who works in Walla Walla, is an ordinary citizen. He filed requests asking for images from Flock cameras with dozens of police agencies. Many complied, and his records, some of which are shown here, reveal that Flock cameras are shooting images all the time of passing cars and passengers.
You were worried about abuse of this system.
I felt like that's, I don't know, violating all of my privacy, everyone's privacy, regardless if you are obeying the law or not. It's not like a traffic light camera that takes pictures of only people that are breaking the law by speeding or whatever. It's taking pictures of every single vehicle that passes by.
He calls it surveillance by Big Brother. Sidra Woolley denied his records request and
all rise, please.
Took Rodriguez to civil court.
This is a fairly specific issue regarding a very valuable and effective law enforcement tool.
Today, the attorney for Sidra Woolley and Stanwood, which also denied the records request, said making flock images public would violate the privacy of individuals, and it would make them available to requesters with bad intent, like stalkers.
This is about ensuring that this technology is utilized in an appropriate manner.
This court case follows a University of Washington report last month that found federal agents accessed Washington flock cameras, possibly in violation of a state law prohibiting their use for immigration purposes.
I think a lot of cities are discovering right now that we don't know who all has access to this.
So we're here on the city's motion for summary judgment.
The judge ruled flock is so broad and indiscriminate, most of it not involving suspected criminals, that it must be released to requesters like Jose Rodriguez.
These images and data from the flock do qualify as public records subject to the Public Records Act.
After the judge's ruling here at the courthouse today, the attorney representing the cities said the judge's decision is under evaluation and it'll decide what steps to take next in this case. Meanwhile, the flock cameras in both Stanwood and Sidra Woolley remain turned off.
Goodbye. Yeah, well, you know, is it public records? Is it not? Should it be available for people just to peruse? Maybe not. You know, I don't want anybody just, you know, being able to just show me where, you know, Smooth went, you know, bomb, this store, that store, and just completely stalk you through public service requests to these flock cameras. Come on now. Yeah, that's the same reason that, you know, they got rid of some of these stoplight cameras, speed cameras, whatever you want to call them. These things, those are crazy too. Who's in control of this and what are they doing with all that data? I don't know. But in any regards, because I give a shit, and I'm always trying to help you look out for yourself, and I'm telling you about the various scams that are going on, you know, from skimming devices to, you know, the fake $20, is this your money? And then all of a sudden they do a quick switch in your wallet, you know, the magician and stuff. But in any regards, there's another one going on, and what do they call this one here? It's called ghost tapping. Since a lot of these cards, you know, have the little device in it that you can just go up to the register and tap, instead of having to enter any type of, you know, 4-digit code. Again, the criminal mind has found a way to circumvent that, steal your information, and steal your money. Check us out.
Well, stealing your money without ever swiping your card. Tonight, we're taking a look at ghost tapping, also known as ghost charges. Now, it's a familiar scam, but with a modern twist. Our Shante Passmore is here to explain how this wireless skimming works.
Hey there, if you like me, you tap your card all the time whenever you go to the store, but it's that same technology bad guys are using to steal your information, everything from bank cards to your house keys.
Flipper Zero. A multi-tool so powerful, it's also banned in other countries but legal in the U.S.
Flipper devices are they are remote controls.
They can be used to open garage doors, power things on and off, and even penetration testing to make sure computer systems are secured. At Stack Cybersecurity, the team shows Local 4 how bad actors use the devices. Think digital pickpocketing and less card skimming.
So this goes beyond that. This could be just a simple tap of a card, and it will steal all the card information, and now the individual has my card.
I hate that.
Yeah, they can now take that, store it, and they can go to the gas pump and use it.
So how does it work?
It uses this dev board at the top, and this dev board has the ability to read frequencies that use wireless bands.
It's not just cards. Scammers can also target badges and fobs.
It's not just about cybersecurity in your networks and your online systems. It's also about physical security. A lot of companies do not think about physical security, and they absolutely must.
Experts say proximity is key. People need to be just close enough to tap your information. The BBB reports someone may bump into you in a crowded area to secretly steal it.
That is insane. I can't even think that this is actually happening, but I'm not too surprised though at the same time. There's a lot of technology hacks, and it just seems like it's the next level up.
In a statement to Local 4, Flipper Zero claims its devices is intended for educational purposes, security testing, and development. It also wrote in part, "We'd like to highlight that while the Flipper Zero can read NFC and RFID cards, it cannot decode the card's encrypted security code used on credit and debit cards, so they can't be cloned."
Boy, that's taking pickpockets to a whole new level, isn't it? They bump into you, they steal the information off of your cards in your pocket, off of your key fob for your vehicle, or if you have some type of maybe information that a wireless device to access yourself into your business office. There's a lot of places that do that. So wow, whole new world out there, people. Be careful. So, you could be compromised without even having a clue that you were compromised. Keep an eye on your bank accounts, keep an eye on, a lot of those different type of transactions. And if you own a company that, utilizes key fobs for access controlled transactions, keep a look at those and, make sure everything's looking square. Who knows? Anyhow, I thought I'd share that with you. Let's get into the moment we're at the end of the show, and that is our dude, seriously, what the fuck moment. This series, what the fuck moment, is actually kind of cool, and it happens to be something that they are doing in Germany. So check out what the German scientists, I don't know if necessarily scientists, but inventors and people that thought, this is a hell of an idea. Let's get these installed into some various homes and possibly apartment complexes and see how it all works out. I thought it was pretty cool, and I would share this what the fuck moment with you.
This is an intelligent washing machine invented by the Germans, designed to look like a small clothing transfer portal embedded in the wall. You simply toss your dirty clothes into the opening, and the machine automatically sucks them in. No need to move a finger. Once inside, a vacuum pipe instantly activates, sending the clothes through the tube directly to the built-in washing unit. There, the system automatically completes sorting, washing, drying, and ironing, just like in a fully automated laundry factory, efficient and precise. After the entire cleaning process is done, the neat and freshly pressed clothes are delivered back to your room through another pipeline. You can simply take them out and wear them immediately, enjoying a truly hands-free and futuristic laundry experience that redefines convenience in modern living. Do you think this sounds crazy? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.
I thought that was pretty cool. It just sucks the laundry right out of your hand, takes it down, and then automatically puts it through the laundry wash cycle, dry cycle, and a folding cycle, and delivers it back to you. How freaking cool is that? Oh, yeah, I can see that being a hit. Well, who knows? Again, I thought I would share that with you. But, hey, you know what it is time for? Another, this week's Asshole Merit Badge nominee. And this nominee goes to a irate customer who apparently was just not real happy with how long it was taking and or the quality, I'm not sure, of the order that she was receiving from McDonald's, or actually she didn't receive from McDonald's because she wanted breakfast and they were on the lunch menu, and you know how that works out.
Police have identified a woman who was seen in a video tossing hot coffee onto the manager of a mid-Michigan McDonald's. The incident happened on Tuesday morning at the McDonald's in Buena Vista Township on Dixie Highway. The video is just really hard to believe. It was released by police, showing the woman complaining about the slow service, and when the manager handed the customer the coffee, the woman threw it on her. The manager screamed as she was hit with the scalding hot coffee. Police put the video out to try to identify the woman, and they now know her identity, and it's possible she will face a criminal charge.
Do you think she should? Did you see the steam come off of that woman's back when she did that? That was insane. Throwing scalding hot coffee on somebody. But no, the real story, and I checked it out, was, she was a little bit behind on getting breakfast. She thought she ordered it at that kiosk, and they were already on the lunch, so she was just SOL when it came to ordering her breakfast, and that pissed her off, and that's how she reacted. Whew. Anyhow, let's get on out of here. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. I hope you enjoyed tonight's show. Again, keep the faith, people. We will get through all this. We'll see how the vote comes out. Maybe later on tonight or tomorrow sometime on reopening the government. Will everybody get their SNAP benefits, or will Donnie get his wish, and maybe there'll be a reduction in what you get? Who the hell knows? I don't anymore. But anyhow, as promised, I said I would give you the top 10 lies that Don told on his interview with Nora O'Donnell on 60 Minutes Sunday, a couple of days ago. But check it out. Enjoy Trump's top 10 lies as narrated by Chuck Schumer. You're going to love this. And you enjoy the rest of your Wednesday evening. And until next week, people, I'm out of here. Enjoy and great weekend. Bye-bye now.
To go through Donald Trump's top 10 lies from 60 Minutes. So number one, here's Donald Trump saying that grocery prices are going down.
They've seen their grocery prices go up, inflation.
No, you're wrong. They went up under Biden. Right now, they're going down.
This is false. Grocery prices are up. They're up in all 6 categories measured by the Consumer Price Index. And if Donald Trump were spending less time in his golden Great Gatsby ballroom and more time in a grocery store, he would know that prices are going up. Number 2, Trump claimed that Biden gave him the worst inflation rate in all of U.S. history. That is another lie. Here he is.
Joe Biden was the worst president in the history of our country. We had the worst inflation. We had the worst of everything.
In fact, the inflation rate in January when Trump took over was 3%. The inflation rate today is 3%. And just in case you're curious what the worst inflation rate was, it was 27% in 1920. Another big provable falsehood by Donald Trump. And here's Donald Trump on tariffs, claiming once again that countries like China are paying instead of consumers like you.
With China, they were, very strongly threatening us, frankly, with the rare earths. And then I said, well, if you're going to play that card, I'm going to put a 100% tariff on over and above what you're already paying, which was 55%.
But that is, again, just another lie. In fact, tariffs are paid by the importer. Those costs are passed on to consumers. We are paying the cost of tariffs. It's part of the reason why inflation keeps going up. This on-again, off-again tariff war by the president has made the cost of living more expensive for all of us. And coming in at number 4, Donald Trump talking about artificial intelligence and the energy demands of artificial intelligence and how he came up with the idea to co-locate a new data center with a power plant generating the power for that facility. Here he is.
We're producing electricity like never before by allowing the companies to make their own electricity, which was my idea, which nobody frankly had thought of, these massive plants that are being built.
So Donald Trump claims this was his idea, which nobody ever thought of. Well, this idea was discussed at length during the Biden administration. It's not a unique idea. I suppose this is Donald Trump's equivalent of saying that he invented the internet. And coming in at number 5, Donald Trump claiming that each time he attacks a ship in the Caribbean, that effectively saves 25,000 American lives. Here he is.
But every one of those boats kills 25,000 Americans. Every single boat that you see that's shot down kills 25,000 on drugs and destroys families all over our country.
Well, that's just absurd. First of all, he has been claiming falsely that these ships carry fentanyl. This is not a fentanyl trafficking route. Precursor chemicals generally come from China. Fentanyl is smuggled into the United States from Mexico. It is more cocaine that is being trafficked in the Caribbean. And if you add up all of the loss of lives from all of the sources of drug overdoses, it would amount to about 80 or 90,000 deaths, which is a horrible tragedy. But for Donald Trump to claim that every boat he attacks saves essentially 25,000 lives is just made up nonsense. Number 6, Trump repeated the claim that he's made in many other places as well, that he ended 8 wars.
But I mean, just a little list of look at this, wars. How many did I solve? Cambodia, this is Cambodia, Thailand, Kosovo, Serbia, Congo, the Congo and Rwanda, Pakistan and India. That was going to be a beauty. They shot down 7 planes. Israel and Iran. You've heard about that one? Egypt and Ethiopia.
There's been no war between Egypt and Ethiopia. That's been a long-running dispute over a major Ethiopian dam project. Trump includes on the list another war, the war in Kosovo, that didn't even take place during his tenure in office. And he claims to have prevented other wars from taking place without any factual basis. So that, again, wrong, false, exaggerated, you name it. Number 7, Trump claimed that Joe Biden provided $350 billion to Ukraine. That figure is also not remotely accurate. I mean, even if you got your degree from Trump University, the numbers don't add up. In fact, the U.S. contribution to Ukraine has been about $94 billion, has gone out the door. Another equivalent amount has been appropriated but not yet fully dispersed. So we're talking about less than half of the money that Trump claims Joe Biden already spent on Ukraine. Number 8, Donald Trump and the shutdown. Donald Trump falsely claimed that what Democrats are seeking is $1.5 trillion for healthcare and other services for undocumented people.
I can't give them $1.5 trillion so that they can give welfare to people that came into our country illegally.
This is completely bogus. What Democrats are seeking is to end the vast increases in healthcare costs on the Affordable Care Act that are occasioned by Trump's doing away with tax credits for people getting their healthcare through the ACA. We're trying to at least bring down the cost of healthcare for Americans. Undocumented immigrants are not eligible for that funding. So this is just another palpable Donald Trump lie. And number 9, Donald Trump and the Insurrection Act. So Trump has been deploying the National Guard and active duty troops to cities like Los Angeles and Chicago, Portland, Oregon, and elsewhere in a lawless effort to essentially get the military to engage in domestic law enforcement. This is also Donald Trump trying to make him look strong, trying to essentially commandeer the military as his own palace guard. But these actions are being struck down in court. And so Donald Trump has been threatening to invoke the Insurrection Act. And in defense of his potentially invoking this seldom used statute, Donald Trump claimed during the interview that it had been used by other presidents as many as 28 times. That's just false. No president has invoked the Insurrection Act more than Ulysses S. Grant in the early 1800s, who did so only 6 times. Nevertheless, and perhaps more importantly, there is no basis, no justification whatsoever for invoking the Insurrection Act under the circumstances in which Donald Trump is claiming. That is, that there's some kind of insurrection or rebellion against which American troops need to be deployed. That too is just false. And finally, rounding out the top 10, Donald Trump asked about whether he has directed the Justice Department to go after his political enemies. Here's Donald Trump on that subject.
Did you instruct the Department of Justice to go after them?
Not in any way, shape, or form.
Not in any way, shape, or form, he says. Well, take a look at this form. That was Donald Trump instructing Pam Bondi in a tweet that was supposed to be a private direct message, but was sent improperly, so the public got to see it, instructing him to go after 3 of his enemies, myself very much included. So those are just 10 of the patent falsehoods told by Donald Trump in a 60 Minutes interview.
It begins with one frog who refuses to bend the knee, who dares to say, no kings, No crowns. Not here. Not ever. Because when the powerful forget the people, someone must remember what's right. And when one frog stands, others rise to join them. They come from the ponds and the alleyways, from the rivers and the rooftops, from the quiet corners where hope still breathes. One by one, they step forward. Each frog, a voice. Each voice, a promise. No kings, no rulers, no tyrants, just frogs. Awake, unafraid, and united. One frog can make a ripple, but together we can make waves. Frogs, together, strong.
I know it's a sacrifice to make time to protest ICE, but it's something